Facts about Islam from history, beliefs, and culture. 1. One of the oldest religions is Islam. Islam facts claim that the faith was founded by Muhammad in the sacred city of Mecca and that it spread from Mecca to Saudi Arabia approximately 600 AD. Muhammad first learned about Adhere, where he also started to preach. He left Mecca because he was having trouble getting many followers there and went to Medina, where his ideas were more well-liked. 2. Islam stands for peace. Islam literally translates as peace, security, and surrender in Arabic. A Muslim, which literally translates to one who calmly surrenders to God, is someone who follows Islam. Muslims are people who follow Islam, not people of any particular ethnicity or origin. 3. In Islam, there are 5 practice pillars. These 5 pillars must be upheld in order to be regarded as a sincere Muslim. They include making a formal 5 times daily prayer commitment, believing in one God and that Muhammad is his prophet, giving 2.5% of one's annual wealth to the poor, making at least one pilgrimage to Mecca, and fasting during the daytime during the month of Ramadan. 4. Islam adheres to 6 articles of faith. Islam holds the following core convictions. Muslims hold a monotheistic view of God and all of his genuine prophets. Additionally, they hold to the historic texts that were revealed to Moses, David, Jesus, and Muhammad. They hold faith in the Day of Judgment, the afterlife, and angels. The final precept emphasizes destiny. 5. One of the fastest growing religions is Islam. According to Islam statistics, there are 1.57 billion Muslims in the globe, or 23% of all people. Anybody can choose to convert to Islam. They are required to recite a declaration known as the Shahada, which attests to the convictions that there is only one God and that Muhammad is a prophet of God. 6. Muslims accept some of Jesus' works, but not all of them. Muslims acknowledge that Jesus was a prophet of God, but they reject the notion that his death on the cross and divine resurrection made all sins absolvable. Islam, on the other hand, teaches that everyone will be raised from the dead on the Day of Judgment. After that, God will hold them responsible for their deeds. Muslims fervently seek God's approval and pardon for their misdeeds in their prayers. 7. God's written revelations are found in the Quran. The central text of Islam is the Quran, which was penned by Muhammad and his followers. God created the text, which the angel Gabriel delivered to Muhammad. The message of the Quran would endure even if all copies were destroyed tonight. This is due to the fact that many Muslims, known as Hafiz, have memorized every word of the Quran. 8. Islam does not support terrorist acts committed in the name of Allah. Islam opposes terrorism and bloodshed. The religion forbids threats and murder of civilians. Islam is designed to promote peace to society, and its adherents are expected to contribute to that peace. Terrorist attacks committed in the name of Islam do not accurately represent the faith. 9. Islam does not oppress women. Contrary to common opinion, women are not oppressed by Muslim men, according to facts about Islam. Islam does not forbid women from having jobs, owning property, receiving inheritances, voting, attending religious services, or getting a divorce. The best among you, according to Muhammad, are those who treat their spouses well. To comply with God's commands about modest attire, devout Muslim women don a head covering called a hijab. Many holy ladies of various denominations, including Mother Teresa and the Virgin Mary, have long been seen wearing a head covering. 10. In Islam, arranged marriages are permitted. Muslims are still known to engage in arranged unions in several parts of the world. The assent of both parties to the marriage is one requirement for a legitimate Islamic marriage contract. Nevertheless, in Islam, divorce is also permitted and can be started by either spouse. Guidelines that safeguard all parties, including women, children, and, if appropriate, unborn children. 11. Muslims pray with their backs to a stone building. No matter where they are on the earth, Muslims are obligated to face the Kaaba in Mecca, Saudi Arabia. There are 5 daily prayers. Prophet Abraham and his son Ishmael built the Kaaba, a stone building in the shape of a cube. They don't do this to worship the Kaaba, but rather to maintain consistency in their devotion and to demonstrate their shared ideologies. The Kaaba is empty on the inside. 12. The Golden Age of Islam dedicated to intelligence. Muslims were motivated by the verse in the Quran that reads, "The ink of the scholar is more sacred than the blood of the martyr," between the 8th and 13th centuries. This caused the Islamic civilization to place a strong emphasis on science, astronomy, chemistry, physics, mathematics, medicine, and philosophy. Scholars from various faiths gathered in a house of wisdom to translate significant works of knowledge into Arabic. This helped to preserve numerous classic writings, some of which were later translated into Hebrew and Latin and other languages. 13. Numerous inventions have their origins in the Islamic world. Muslims are the ones who discovered citric acid and came up with the concepts of marching bands and teaching hospitals. They also created the water pipe, guitar, and lute. They were innovators in the fields of algebra and refraction theory. They were also responsible for coffee's development. 14. Islam regards a variety of prophets. Muslims hold that over the centuries, the Quran only names 25 by name. Adam was the first prophet, and Muhammad was the last. 15. Jihad in Islam is not holy war. Many who misunderstand Islam call for jihad. The literal translation is strive or fight. While some believe it to be the sixth pillar of Islam, this is not a recognized doctrine. 16. The Arabic term for God, Allah, is the same as Deus. Latin, Greek, and French words for God are theos and you. Islam holds that God is one and unique, without spouses, children, or other close friends. Islam adheres firmly to monotheism. Muslims believe that this God is the same one who previously revealed himself via other religions and other prophets. The Arab Christians also refer to God as Allah in the Arabic translation of the Bible that they read. 17. In Islam, various aspects of God are mentioned. The gracious and the merciful are the two characteristics that appear most frequently in the Holy Quran. Islam holds that rather than being vindictive and hasty to punish, God is willing to pardon and forgive individuals. 18. The short and straightforward Islamic creed is as follows. Allah alone is deserving of worship, and Muhammad is his messenger. Actually, the only significant process involved in becoming a Muslim is accepting this religion and reciting this profession of faith. All Muslims hold this as their fundamental religious principle, and it is frequently written in mosques and displayed in Muslim houses in the form of exquisite calligraphic art. 19. Finding God is the true goal of life for a Muslim. This is the actual recompense Islam assures a believer will receive. As a result, all of our acts of worship serve a purpose rather than being performed for their own sake. Those who choose this road might find success in this life, rather than merely in the next. In other words, Islam presents us with a personal God who loves his creation and with whom we can establish a close personal bond. Islam does emphasize simplicity and the avoidance of excess. There are no nuns, monks, or rules requiring lifelong celibacy. A devout person does not need to live an unmarried existence their entire lives. All Muslims are urged to get married and integrate into society. 21. Every religion relies on individual faith to establish clarity of belief. Islam goes beyond this strategy and encourages the adherent to rely on reason and experience instead of mystery, myths, and tales. It is a thorough religion that appeals to both your mind and the core of your being. 22. Jesus is not actually a son of God, but rather a blessed prophet and the Jewish Messiah. By assisting them in attaining the proper comprehension and application of the commandments and edicts, he was able to fulfill the law of Moses. In reality, Mary, the mother of Jesus, is honored in a chapter of the Holy Quran. Among all the women in history, Mary is held in the highest regard and accorded a very high status. 23. Islam claims there is no such thing as inherited sin. Every child is innocent and pure when they are born. Our personal decisions and actions in life have the power to either be moral or good. In Islam, salvation is attained by abiding by God's commandments. However, God alone has the authority to determine who goes to heaven and hell and does so after someone dies. The Holy Quran places a high value on taking responsibility for oneself and working to develop constantly. 24. Islam states unequivocally that faith is not compelled. Any religion may be practiced or disapproved of by anyone. Islamic beliefs forbid forcing someone to convert to Islam or killing them if they decide to follow a different religion. Apostasy, or abandoning Islam, is also not a crime. Islam encourages complete accountability for one's conduct and total religious freedom for all people. 25. Between people and God, there is no middleman or mediator. According to Islam, God is the sole being who has the power to cleanse us of our sins and with whom we all have a personal relationship. We don't have to confess anything to another person. All you need to do is communicate with God directly, which is what daily prayers encourage. 26. Islam does not prescribe a certain structure of authority. Instead, it places the requirement that, regardless of its structure, a government must always carry out its duties with equity, justice, and compassion, fulfilling and preserving fundamental human rights. Islam forbids discrimination on the grounds of race, religion, social class, or wealth.